Look at how good everything looks. Pay attention to the car, obviously the background and scenery too, the sky, the colors, the shadows. Hey everyone, today in this video, I'm going to be checking out the Sceptre 27-inch Edgeless Business Pro monitor. I did receive this sample from Sceptre, but any opinion expressed in this video is strictly my own. That being said, if you're interested in this Sceptre 27-inch computer monitor, or you want to find out more about it, the link to it will be in the video description. Here's a look at the retail box and packaging, walking you through some of the key features. This features 1920 by 1080p Full HD, 75 Hz for the refresh rate, edgeless design with really slim bezels, adaptive sync technology. We got blue light shift as well. The side of the box walks you through what's included. The back looks very similar to the front. And then on this side, they walk you through all the different port and connection options that we have with this monitor. Now let's go ahead, let's open it up and look at the contents. All right, it's time for a quick viewer intervention. Yes, I'm talking to you. No, don't look away. I'm talking to you right now. In the last 28 days, almost 40,000 of you have viewed the TV Chef channel, but only 98 of you have become a subscriber. So would you please consider clicking that subscribe button? Bonus points if you like, comment, and share our videos as well. If you don't like our videos, please give it a thumbs down, click that dislike button, and tell us why in the comment section. We'd love to hear from you either way. Also, bonus points for you if you want to share it with an ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend, estranged sibling, spouse. You get the idea. We'd be grateful for that as well. Here are all the contents. First up, we have our product literature featuring our 1-year warranty information, their customer service and contact card. We also have our user guide and manual, very detailed, thorough, walking you through everything you need to know about getting the stand installed, prepping it for wall mounting, learning all about the buttons, controls, connection types, how to route everything depending on your setup. They spend a lot of time walking you through the on-screen display and menu, all the settings and features there. This is a really helpful user guide, walks you through the VGA resolutions that are supported. Max is going to be 1920 1080p at 75 Hz. Same for HDMI, troubleshooting section, how to clean the display. We have all of our tech specs here. 5 millisecond response time, G to G, 300 nits for the brightness. So very thorough, detailed, showing you everything you need to know. 100 by 100 for our VESA mount, screw size, M4 by 10 millimeters there. And then we have some additional warranty information. Next, we have our power supply and adapter with our barrel connector, our Sceptre Phillips head screwdriver. We have our stand screws and cap. We have one included HDMI cable right here. Our stand is in 2 plastic pieces. And lastly, we have the monitor itself. Let's go ahead, let's look at that in more detail. Here's a look at the back side of the monitor. Front and center, we got the Sceptre logo and branding. On this side, we have all of our menu control options and buttons right here. Power button, speaker grills, VESA mount option. We have our included stand mounting option, Kensington security lock, then all of our color-coded ports and I/O, DC in for the power, audio out, audio in, VGA. Everything's labeled too, so you know 75 Hz for VGA. 2 HDMI ports, again 75 Hz, so everything's labeled for you. Very, very nice. Let's look at the very bottom here, get a feel for the design, how thick it is. It's definitely thicker at the bottom. Here's our side profile, very thin and then thick. Here's that top-down look, same thing. And then we can look at it from the front. We got the Sceptre logo and branding right here, HDMI sticker, 75 Hz, and that super slim, basically bezel-less design, just a sliver, about a fingernail's width right there, all around the top and the sides. Now let's go ahead, let's get the stand installed. The stand installs basically in 2 parts. First, we have to actually assemble the stand and then fasten it to the monitor. So it's only gonna go one way. We have these plastic tabs here that line up with the base, and then basically just press it in like so, and then twist, and it snaps in place. We have this release lever here if you need to disassemble this for whatever reason. 4 nice grip feet. So there we go. We got the stand installed. Now we have to take the 2 included Phillips head screws, line this up on the back, and then fasten them down in place with the included screwdriver. And then once we're done, we just take this little cap and press it in, and that's it. It's that simple. All right, so the screws are tightened and everything's fastened in place. We'll just take this cap, gently press it on. There we go. The stand is fully set up. Let's check it out in action. So from the side, we have our tilt option here. We can tilt it all the way down or tilt it all the way back. Other than that, there's no swivel rotation or anything else with this stand. There's no height adjustment either. So if you want to adjust the height, bring your own books and you can stack them up. And that's how you're going to be able to do that. And if you want to turn it to the left or the right, just physically, literally turn it to the left or to the right. So very basic stand as you'd expect with a budget-friendly monitor. But the good news is you do have that VESA mount option. If you need any of those other features, you can get the stand that you want. Now that we got it all set up, let's go ahead, plug it in, powered on, and check out the menu. So we have the monitor plugged in, powered on, and connected to our desktop PC. So let's bring up the menu settings right here. And we have multiple options to go over. Up at the top, we're currently using HDMI 1 and we're getting 1920 by 1080 at 75 Hertz. Let's go into our quick start settings right here. I'm not going to go over each individual option for you. Sceptre does a really nice job down here giving you a brief description, and they have a really thorough user guide and manual. But we have our image preset selector right there. We can choose which option we want depending on the content we're consuming. Next, our aspect ratio, source, volume, blue light shift, and adaptive sync. We can turn that on or off. Let's go back out and go to the next option here, our picture settings. Same thing, image preset, DCR, aspect ratio, and sharpness. We'll go back out and look at our color settings. Temperature, we can change the color temperature, gamma, tint, saturation, and blue light shift. Lastly, we have our system settings right here, overdrive, adaptive sync, sleep mode, language, OSD position, OSD timer, OSD transparency, volume, mute, and then a factory reset for the monitor. So really nice, clean, organized menu that's simple to navigate. Nice layout, very easy to find the setting that you're looking for. So the menu already showed us HDMI 1 was getting 1920 by 1080 at 75 Hertz, but I wanted to show you that it matches the advanced display settings within Windows. We're getting the same resolution, and technically we're getting 74.973 Hertz. If for some reason you're seeing something different with your menu settings, go into your advanced display options and make sure you click this drop down menu right here and select the refresh rate that you want. Now I wanted to show you with this video displaying the different image presets and how they're going to change how the image looks. So you want to choose one accordingly to your own preferences to match maybe the content you're consuming or the game that you're playing. So currently we're in standard right now. Then we have user, and again, user, look at all the options that come on the menu that we can adjust. But I'll quickly click through these. Movie, Eco, FPS-RTS, and back to standard. I want you to be able to see each preset and how it's gonna change the image. Sometimes it's just darker or lighter, the brightness is adjusted. Sometimes it's the contrast, the colors a little bit. So again, just choose whatever one works best for what you're trying to do with the monitor at any given time. And again, don't forget, if you're not happy with the presets, you can always adjust it yourself. So we'll cycle through them again right here. And one more time. So there you go. It's a quick look at the image presets and how it's going to change on this display depending on which one you choose. Now we have the UFO test pulled up on our display. This is a great visualizer so you can see why refresh rates matter, especially in an FPS scenario for you gamers out there. We have 3 different FPS values, all at 75 Hertz 1080p here. So we have 19 FPS at the bottom, 38 in the middle, and 75 FPS up at the top. You'll notice how smooth it is as our FPS matches our refresh rate. Look at that alien, buttery smooth going across the display. And then when we basically decrease our value in half each time, it gets more and more jittery, sputtery, whatever you want to call it, as it kind of staggers and looks like it's shaking back and forth on the display. So this is why it's important, if you can get a higher refresh rate and you have a system that allows you to push a higher FPS value, you'll appreciate having a higher refresh rate display. So again, if gaming's what you're after, 75 Hertz is the max for this monitor. So you can see the value then in 120, 144, 240, you get the idea there. But really nice that with this monitor, it's slightly overclocked from 60 Hertz. With this display, we get 75 Hertz. And even if you can tell right here, the 15 extra FPS with our 15 extra hertz for our refresh rate will make a difference. So now let's talk about backlight bleed and IPS glow. The first thing I want to say is that this literally can vary panel to panel. So keep that in mind. What I'm seeing could be different than what you're seeing with your very own monitor or one you end up picking up. This is an IPS display, and I did notice some glowing depending on our viewing angle in both corners up at the top, but I did not notice any backlight bleeding or any defect with the monitor, so that's always a good thing. Honestly, really hard to tell. You have to turn off all the lights, be in a dark room, and look at a black screen like we're doing right here. And even then, you gotta have a critical eye and check all the different angles, and you might see a little bit of glow here or there, but it's not going to affect the image, the quality, or anything along those lines. Now let's talk about color accuracy and representation. I want you to know these are unofficial results. These are just my own findings. So we used DisplayCal, and we got the following results. For gamut coverage for sRGB, we got 89.9%. I've reviewed quite a few Sceptre monitors. This is the lowest I think I've ever got, especially because they advertise 99% sRGB. I am making the assumption that that's coverage and not volume, but in this case it could be, or for some reason we're just seeing a lower result, and I'm not sure why, because we calibrate and configure the monitors all the same when we do this test. So we got 89.9% for our coverage, but our volume was 100% for sRGB. In regards to Adobe RGB, we're showing 65.6% coverage and 68.9% for our Adobe RGB volume. And lastly, we're showing 70.8% DCI P3 coverage and also 70.8% for our volume. Next, for a simpler test, let's browse the web. So I got a couple popular websites pulled up right here. First, we're looking at YouTube with their trending page. Everything looks great, works great. Everything's clear, crisp, easy to read. Enjoyable for watching videos, consuming content, being entertained. Next, we have The Verge pulled up, a popular tech blog. So if you're after some information, want to read the news, things like that. Look at how good everything looks. Images, titles, quotes, embedded links, ads, videos. Clear, crisp, everything looks great, has a nice pop to it. I'm also looking at this off to the side. The viewing angle is fantastic with our IPS panel. And then lastly, maybe you want to do some online shopping. We got Amazon pulled up right here. Images look great, the product listings. Really easy and enjoyable to browse the web on this monitor. Now we're testing out the built-in speakers. This monitor is equipped with built-in speakers, which I always love for the convenience aspect. But as you're noticing right now, if you're hearing that music, we're actually at max volume 100. And this is how everything sounds. We're streaming the song Dripping with Ice from Music Chef. Music Chef is home to DMCA free and stream safe music for content creators. So listen in for a couple of seconds to this nice hip hop beat. So the speakers appear to be firing right from the back. You can see the speaker grills. So if you're up against a wall, you might get a slightly better sound experience than what you're hearing here. But again, at this price point, it's just nice they even include speakers. I've never heard great or even necessarily good monitor speakers. So again, it comes with the territory. There's only so much you can expect, and there has to be compromises somewhere. And most people already have headphones, sound bars, things like that. So as I always say, I'd rather have them and not need them than need them and not have them. Next up, we're going to be testing out the input lag on this monitor. Now keep in mind, input lag is different from response time. This has an advertised 5 millisecond G to G response time. That's going to be the amount of time it takes the pixel to change from one color to another, or one shade of gray to another. So input lag is basically the delay or the lag between a command when it's issued and what's displayed on the screen. This is important if you're a professional gamer or wannabe gamer out there. So let's see what we're getting here input lag wise. All right, right about 1.2 milliseconds for our input lag. I'll show you the other values as well. This should be around 8 milliseconds. 8.7, and the bottom one should be around 16. My arm's going to block it. So let's try to do it this way. So right around 16, we'll say 16.1 milliseconds for the bottom value. But our input lag right at 1.2 milliseconds. The moment you've all been waiting for, let's talk about gaming. First up, we have Forza 5 gameplay up on the screen. So we're getting 75 FPS at 75 Hertz, 1920, 1080 for a resolution. Look at how good everything looks. Pay attention to the car, obviously the background and scenery too, the sky, the colors, the shadows. You get the idea there. Movement and motion, very fluid as well, as we showed earlier. Remember that UFO going across the screen? You want that higher refresh rate. If your system can match those FPS, you'll see good results with any movement and motion like we're seeing right here as the car drives along. Now we got the water drops, the rain. This game just looks so good. I don't think it matters what monitor it's on. Forza 5, beautiful graphics. Now we have Assassin's Creed Valhalla pulled up right here. Check out the gameplay footage on our Sceptre 27-inch monitor. Got our smoke rising from the fires there. Look at the sky and the horizon. The color contrast, the movement and the motion. Got our guy fishing out there in the boat. I like this pan back to the town and the ruins. Pretty cool. And lastly, we have Borderlands 3 footage up on the display right now, showing over 130 FPS, again at 75 Hertz for our refresh rate, 1920 1080p Full HD. As always, pay attention to the movement, the motion, the explosions, the sparks, the embers, the water, the reflections, all that good stuff. The character movements. Upcoming little sneak attack there. Cue the explosion in the slime barrel. Let's go. Love to see it. Some explosions, a little flashbang. looking pretty good. So let's talk about next-gen consoles. First up, with the PlayStation 5 connected to this monitor, we're looking at the video output information. You're gonna get 1920 1080p 60 Hz using this display with your PlayStation. And don't worry, I haven't forgot about you Xbox people as well. We have the Xbox Series X connected to the monitor. We're looking at our TV and display options. We're getting 1080p. This will also be at 60 Hz. So after using this monitor, let me share with you my final thoughts. First, if you're unfamiliar with Sceptre and you're worried about quality or longevity, have no fear. I've been using Sceptre monitors since I think 2018. And I have two of them that I purchased back then, and they still work great 4 years later. And I really burned those things up, let me tell you. So those were my main monitors for a long time when I was filming content creation in my old studio. Now I still use as my main monitor a 49-inch ultra-wide from Sceptre. I've had zero issues with that. So I can speak to the quality and longevity of their products. I expect the same with this particular monitor. And where Sceptre really excels compared to the competition is the value that they offer, whether it's giving you 75 Hz instead of the standard 60 Hz, having built-in speakers, a VESA mount, and giving you multiple ports on the back. So in this case, with this particular monitor, 2 HDMI ports, and we have a legacy VGA port, but they didn't skimp on the audio ports either. We have an audio in and out as well. So those are the things that really set Sceptre apart, the value that they give you for what you're paying. So with that being said, I have the typical upgrades and gripes that I want to see on all monitors: better resolution, better speaker quality, higher refresh rate. For this particular monitor, I'd love to see an improvement in the speaker quality. I think they can do that. That would be really nice. And I'd love a better stand. Now, again, they do give you the VESA mount option, but it'd be nice to have a better stand included that gives us swivel, height adjustment, all of that good stuff as well. But overall, solid, budget-friendly choice if you're looking for a couple of 27-inch monitors, maybe for your home or your office.